Okay, today we have the workbook, chapter 3, the verb phrase. Now, statements about the verb phrase, exercise 17. Select one item from the left-hand column to replace each dash in the sentences below. So, as to produce statements either equivalent in meaning to what is said in chapter 3 or deducible from it. Equivalent or deducible. Okay. Number 1. Number 1. Number 1. A simple phrase that is not a proof form can consist of what?
A lexical verb.
Yes, a lexical. A lexical verb. Yes, good. One that is a proof form can only consist of what?
An auxiliary.
An auxiliary, yes, an auxiliary. Then the verb phrase without proof form بكون lexical. Okay, verb. إذا with the proof form is what? An auxiliary. Okay, number
Yes.
2. Number 2.
The verb phrase must be seen contains 3 items. The last has the function of a lexical verb. The second has the function of a primary auxiliary verb. The second has the function of a modal auxiliary, right?
إذن فعلها must be seen. هي 3 what?
Items.
3 items. إذا فعلنا 3 items. last اللي هو seen شو بنقدر نقول عنها؟ has it the function of a lexical ولا؟ seen عبارة عن lexical.
Yes.
The second has the function of a primary auxiliary. Okay?
A primary auxiliary.
Primary auxiliary اللي هو B. The first, the function of
اللي هي modal auxiliary.
modal auxiliary. Yes. Okay, good. Number 3. What verbs are open class? What verbs are open class?
Lexical verbs.
Yes. قلنا lexical.
Whereas lexical verbs.
Yes. Then lexical
open
verbs
class.
are open class. Whereas, yes. But what? auxiliary. وفي عندنا يا بكون lexical أو auxiliary. auxiliary شو بكونوا؟
items
of a closed class.
Yeah, items the auxiliary.
أو closed system. إذا عندنا lexical verbs are open class items.
Member of a closed system. Yes.
إذا بنقدر نقول إيش؟ lexical verbs are open class items. The auxiliary verbs are إيش؟ members.
Of a closed system.
Members of a closed system. Right. Number 4.
Okay, we know that work in the sentence, we work too hard, is a verb because of its syntactic.
Syntactic, yes, it's a verb.
Am I pronouncing?
It's a verb with its
Yes.
behavior, yes.
Yes. And that the same word in the sentence beginning I have work is a noun because it has no inflection.
إذا تكون عندنا noun هنا I have work. work عبارة عن noun.
Yes.
Is what? قلنا is a noun. Why? Because it has no inflection. Yes.
Inflection.
Good. Number 5.
The lexical verbs will and can have the same form in the base as the modal auxiliary verbs will and can, and their function is different.
إذا هون نقدر نقول
They look يعني
the lexical
they have
verbs
the
will
same
and
form,
can
but
have the same ايش قلنا؟ the same
form.
form. Okay. In where? In the base. As the modal auxiliary verbs will and can, but their function is different.
Function.
Yes, but their function is different. Okay. Next.
Regular verbs are lexical verbs whose past tense and past participle one can always predict from the base form.
Then regular verbs are ايش قلنا عنهم؟ are lexical verbs whose past tense and past participle one can always predict from the base. From the base, yes. Next.
Modal auxiliaries are defective verbs in that they have no infinitive, ing verb, past participle, id, and imperative.
مظبوط. إذا نقدر نقول على modal auxiliaries are defective verbs. Why? Because they have no infinitive, they have no ing, they have no participle ed, they have no participle ing, and they have no imperative. Then no infinitive, no participle ing, no participle ed, and no what? Imperative. Next. Next. Yes.
ما حضرنا، كان عندنا كوزين اليوم والله.
نعم.
ما حضرناش، كان عندنا كوزين اليوم.
ليش تحضير يعني؟ هي قواعد فهم يعني، ليش تحضير؟ اوكي.
والله بدهم دراسة يعني، دراسة
اوكي. Number 8.
Okay, I will
yes.
answer it. Okay. An irregular verb is one whose past tense and past participle one cannot predict from the base form, right?
مظبوط. Yes. إذا an irregular verb is إذا a regular verb, an irregular verb is one whose past and past participle, whose past tense and past participle tense, or whose past tense and past participle, okay, no, two spaces, one cannot predict from the base. One cannot predict from the base. Next.
Burn has two phonological forms from ed. The difference between them being that the final consonant in one spelled ed is voiced, while in the other it's voiceless.
Voiceless, yes. Then Bern has two phonological forms. Now, VED, the difference between them being that the final consonant in one spelled as ED is voiced, while the other is unvoiced. Or voices or unvoiced. Next. Yes.
In Bern, there is no difference between verb and verb ed in the base vowel, whereas in a dream, the base vowel changes. In verb ed, both verbs have an inflection which may be voiced or unvoiced.
Even in Bern, there is no difference between V and VED in the vowel, or نسميه base vowel. Whereas a dream, the base vowel changes. In VED1, both verbs have an inflection which may be voiced or unvoiced, or voices. Okay. Next. Next.
A finite verb must be marked for tense and may have overt concord with its subject in person and number.
Okay, good. Then a finite verb must be marked for tense and may have overt concord with its
Am I
subject in
correct?
person and number. Yes. Next.
In the sentence, I suggest he go, the second verb is marked for a subjunctive mood, while the first is in a marked indicative mood.
لما نقول I suggest that he go, second verb he go is marked for subjunctive mood. While the first is لو suggest ماله while the first is in the unmarked indicative mood. إذا شوف here unmarked indicative mood. بينما الثاني لو go it was in a subjunctive mood. Yes. Next.
In the sentence, you do the cooking, do is a lexical verb and may be either in the imperative mood and indicative mood.
Yes. So it may be either in the indicative mood or imperative mood. Yes. Next.
This question is really difficult.
In the interrogative transformation. Interrogative يعني when we make question. Okay.
Yes.
شو بكون the first thing here?
The first auxiliary.
إذا بنقول the first auxiliary is what? Is used as
is
what?
used as operator.
Operator, an operator.
Yes, an operator.
مظبوط. إذا the first auxiliary is used as an operator and changes places with the subject of the sentence. Yes, next.
In any complex verb phrase, the lexical verb will come at the end, and the modal will come at the beginning.
In any complex verb phrase, the lexical verb will come at the end, and the modal, if any, will come at the beginning. Then the modal comes before the lexical verb. Yes. Next. الاي participle شو realization لايش؟ realization of either. يعني when do you use ed؟
The id participle in a complex verb phrase may be a partial realization of either a perfective aspect or a passive voice.
مظبوط. ممكن يكون perfective
The other
aspect.
part being provided by an auxiliary verb.
Auxiliary verb, yes. إذا ed participle complex verb may be partial realization of either perfective aspect or passive voice. The other part being provided by an auxiliary verb. Yes, next.
The ing participle is in a complex verb phrase is combined with the auxiliary first, B, a realization of a progressive aspect.
مظبوط. إذا the ing participle in a complex verb phrase is combined with the auxiliary B. Realization of progressive aspect. A realization of progressive aspect. Next.
Either the ed or the ing participle, like the infinitive, may also be used alone as an infinite verb in an infinite clause.
Good. Then either the ed or the ing participle, like the infinitive, may also be used alone as non-finite verb in a non-finite clause. Non-finite verb in a non-finite clause. Next.
Non-finite verbs are not marked either for person or tense, but may have progressive or perfective aspects.
مظبوط. Non-finite verbs are not marked either for tense or mood, but may have what? Progressive or perfective.
Progressive or perfective aspects.
Exactly, yes. Next.
The verb in heaven help us is an example of the formula subjective, whereas the mandative subjective in I suggest he go is still in active use, at least in American English.
إذا الفيرب عندنا heaven help us هنا عبارة عن إيش؟ عن formula subjunctive. بينما whereas the mandative subjunctive in I suggest you go is still active use, at least in American English. Okay, good. Any question about this? Okay. ننتقل to slide 21. Slide 21. Okay. Identify each verb phrase in the sentence below. Call the phrase number 1 and so on. Then indicate whether each verb phrase is finite or infinite. If finite, say whether it is present or past, in the indicative or imperative or subjunctive mood. If it has overt concord quote, its subject. If non-finite, say whether it is the infinitive ing participle, ed participle, okay, or ed participle. Number 1. What's the verb in the first sentence?
باي دكتور صح؟
انه die مضبوط.
die.
اول شيء بدنا نعرف اكثر من شغله فيه.
مم.
اول شيء finite or non-finite.
non-finite ما في
طيب non-finite. طبعا هنا بقول finite هنا. نيجي لهون. If non-finite.
ايوه.
شو بيقدر يقول عنه؟
Is
it infinitive? ing participle or ed participle?
ايش دكتور ما سمعت.
هل هو بقول لك if non-finite احنا قلنا انه non-finite.
صح هون say whether
هل هو
it is
participle ing ولا ed؟ infinitive. ing participle ولا ed؟
infinitive.
إذا die عبارة عن ايش؟
non-finite infinitive.
طيب نشوف الفيرب الثاني. شو هو is ها؟
that is.
is عندنا is الفيرب الثاني. شو بالنسبة ل
is finite لأنه في
احنا قلنا finite شو فيه؟
في زمن tense صح ماضي.
إذا بقول عنه finite. اوكي. هنا بقول لك if finite.
تمام.
شو نساوي؟
finite say whether it is in present or past tense.
indicative or imperative or subjunctive mood. إذا شو هنا finite present ولا past؟ present. هل هو indicative imperative or subjunctive mood؟
imperative.
No, it's not imperative.
لا دكتور مش
indicative
and over.
yes, indicative. طيب يعني الفيرب الثالث intend.
I intend.
شو intend هون؟
في tense
أول شيء finite ولا non-finite؟
finite بده يكون في tense.
هل هو present ولا
past؟
intend. present intend.
آسف present.
indicative imperative ولا subjunctive mood؟
مش عارف صراحة.
indicative مظبوط. والله عندنا to do. شو to do؟
non-finite.
finite ولا non-finite؟ non-finite. هل هو infinitive؟
Yes, infinitive.
good. إذا لاحظنا في عندنا 4 verbs die is intend to do. طبعا to do عندنا أنا قلنا non-finite. طيب ننتقل لنمبر 2 die treater.
finite و
أنا
imperative.
إيش؟
finite.
طيب finite present ولا past؟
present. imperative.
المود
دكتور طيب ليش اللي هون finite واللي قبلها non finite؟
die دكتور die treater. شو الفرق بينهم die دكتور die؟
The first one is a question. The second one is imperative. He's ordering him to die.
لا مش he's not ordering him. هو
يعني
بتعجب دكتورة.
داي دكتور يعني مش الدكتور داي.
أمر die treated.
يعني
not أيها الخائن.
يعني
it's imperative.
يعني am I die دكتور that is the last thing I intend to do. يعني am I going to die? okay. بيسأل الدكتور. معناته بتكون ايش نفايد هنا. داي تريتر. هو بتختلف داي تريتر. انه ايه he wants
وش يموت تريتر صح دكتور؟
هيك
he wants the traitor to die. yes. imperative.
إذا die هنا عبارة عن ايش؟ finite. طيب إذا كان finite قلنا present ولا past؟
present.
طيب المود تبعه
imperative.
imperative. Imperative. Okay. طيب every man found هنا found.
Non-finite because it's past participle.
أنا found الverb found من find. هل هو finite ولا non finite؟
مش عارف.
طيب انت شو قلنا عن intend؟
حكينا هنا finite.
finite. found نفس الشيء finite. شو المود تبعه هنا؟
past.
past. found. طيب indicative imperative ولا subjunctive mood؟
indicative دكتور صح؟
طيب every man found guilty of tragic phase يعني الverb phase.
Finite with present
finite أول
tense.
شيء بعدين
Indicative.
indicative.
Yes.
Yes. present ولا past؟
And it's present tense.
present tense.
Present.
Yes. في عندنا concord.
Yes.
Yes. اللي هي ايش؟ every man pays يعني اسهم. فصار عندنا concord.
Yes.
بين ايش؟ بين السبجكت لو every man وايش؟ والverb pays.
Yeah, the agreement between the subject and the verb.
إذا في عندنا agreement between subject والverb بوجود ايش؟ yes. واضح؟ طيب. Number 3. We found him lying. Found.
Finite.
أول شيء finite.
Past tense.
finite past tense. المود
Indicative.
indicative. طيب. lying.
Non-finite.
non-finite. شو المود تبعه؟
participle.
participle ing. Okay. where هنا where. another verb. شو where هنا؟ finite ولا non-finite؟
finite.
Finite.
ايوه.
Past tense.
past tense مظبوط tense past. والمود
Indicative.
indicative. يعني was هون كمان. another verb. was.
نفس where.
نفس where yes. إذا عندنا finite past indicative.
Past tense. Indicative.
Okay. The next sentence, having considered. What kind of verb? Having considered.
Non-finite.
Non-finite. شو التنس non-finite؟ infinitive ing ولا ed؟
Infinitive ing.
ing مش infinitive بنسميه ing participle. بس infinitive بختلف. infinitive يا بكون to أو without to. إذا having considered عبارة عن non-finite ing participle. Okay. Non-finite ing participle. Having considered his case carefully, we recommend.
finite دكتور. past.
finite.
indicative.
طيب شو التنس؟
past. آسف. present.
طيب المود؟
indicative صح؟
No. On subjunctive. That he served.
another month.
إذا recommend عبارة عن إيش؟
no.
finite.
finite.
subjunctive.
Adjunctive.
serve طيب.
Past. Serve. Non-finite.
serve. هل هو tense serve ولا لا؟ يا tense serve.
دكتور.
إذا نقول finite.
Present.
present. He concurred هنا between recommend we recommend that he serve he serve. No concord. لأنه هذا شو نسميه؟ ذكر قلنا mandative subjunctive mood. المانdative subjunctive بيكون ايش؟ بيكون no agreement between the subject and the verb. بنقول he recommend that he serves not that he serves. اوكي؟ إذا شو نسميها هاي؟ mandative
subjunctive mood.
طيب. ask.
Finite. Past.
finite.
Past to.
past.
And be asked.
شو أصلنا؟ past والمود.
Subjunctive كمان. And be asked.
Yes, it is.
Subjunctive.
Subjunctive.
I thought it was past participle.
بس عندنا be هنا be asked.
Be asked.
be asked. إذا هون نقدر نقول في عندنا إيش؟ finite. طبعا في عندنا هون past. and be asked هون زي الباسيف voice تيجي voice دي. okay. voice. and be asked. وفي عندنا to appear.
finite. Present. لا آسف non-finite.
non-finite.
present. لا ما في داعي إذا كان non-finite. say whether it is
non-finite.
infinitive.
تبع هل هو infinitive ولا participle؟ infinitive.
Two.
Before the committee when he has been done. هاي برضو verb هنا. has been done. شو عندنا هاي finite ولا non-finite؟
finite.
finite. present ولا past؟
indicative.
present ولا past؟
past.
has been. present perfect طبعا. present perfect.
Oh yes.
Yes,
has
finite. present perfect. التنس تبعه هون ايه؟ من present. ولأنه finite هون بكون عندنا passive. has been done. passive. Okay. The next one is somebody bring me. Bring.
finite to imperative.
some yes. إذا هنا finite imperative. and show me.
نفس الإشي finite imperative.
finite imperative. we are here.
finite to present tense to indicative.
Yes. Then finite to present tense indicative. Yes, good. I do understand. فين do فين understand.
finite to present tense.
إذا عندنا finite present tense طيب المود
indicative
indicative. هنا please do believe. What? Do believe.
imperative
finite or present or the imperative do believe. Please do believe. Okay. Do believe. And عبارة عن emphasis. Okay. What I'm trying, you know, I'm trying.
progressive
طبعا أول شيء finite ولا finite؟
finite
finite.
present
Progressive.
continuous
Present progressive, yes. To tell you.
non-finite
Non-finite.
infinitive
Infinitive, yes, good. لأن عرفنا هون كيف بنسمي شو الفاينايت شو non-finite. اوكي. إذا كان
Yes.
finite طبعا it should have tense ممكن يكون present أو past. عندي indicative أو imperative أو subjective. وإذا كان في برضه concord أو agreement between the subject and the verb. إذا كان non-finite بس نقول عنه إذا هل هو infinitive أو ing participle أو ed participle. Okay. Any question about this, واضح؟ Any
Yes.
question? طيب. ننتقل لبيج 18 tense aspect and voice. Tense aspect and voice. طيب. tense aspect and voice. شايفنا شو قلنا tense aspect and voice عبارة عن ايش هذول؟ characteristics of what? Of finite verbs.
finite
Huh?
yes
Characteristics of what? Finite verbs. Now change the sentences below in the way indicated by the detailed instructions. Against each new sentence, provide one or more of the following labels for the new verb phrase you have formed. Present, present tense, past, past tense, M, modal, PR, imperfective, progressive, past, past, passive. Now rephrase with the verb in the passive. And we change them into passive. Number one. Number one. You never take me to a restaurant. هاي sentence بالأول active ولا passive؟
دكتور.
This active ولا passive sentence? Number one.
Active صح؟
Active. Now we have to change it to passive. What do we start first with what?
With a direct
active we start with the subject you. بعدين verb وفعل object بعدين ايش؟ preposition of phrase. طيب when we change into passive what should we start first?
Object.
Object. Where object is sentence then?
Me.
Me.
إذا me ايش نسوي فيها؟ We put it at the beginning. شو بصير؟
I.
طيب نشوف شو الفيرب هنا؟ take. What kind of verb take?
Infinitive.
present tense
Present.
إذا صار عندنا
I.
present شو بنقول
I am.
I am مضبوط.
Never.
Never.
Taken.
taken. هون هذا طبعا بالباسيف فويس كل الفيرس ار تشينجينج تو باست بارتيسيبل. اذا شو بصير؟ I am never taken to a restaurant. Okay. Number 2.
We choose you as our spokesman.
Where object?
You.
You. Then how do we make this passive? شو الفيرب الأول verb? choose مظبوط. present ولا
Verb
past؟
choose.
ها؟ present ولا past
Present.
choose؟
Present.
present. Then what do you say here?
Choose.
You what?
You are chosen.
You are. والpast participle من choose شو بصير؟
Chosen.
chosen. إذا
Chosen.
you are
chosen.
not chosen, chosen with one O.
Chosen.
إذا شو بصير جملة you are chosen as our spokesman. The next one.
They do not sell this drug without a prescription.
Where is the object?
The drug. This drug. Sell verb. بدنا نحكي this drug is not sold.
إذا this drug is not. ما بنحط دونت هنا. بنحط ايش؟ البي فيرب. شو بصير؟ this drug is not ايه؟
is not sold.
فيرب سيل. شو بصير سيل؟ شو الباست بارتيسيبل؟
sold دكتور sold.
sold. إذا شو بصير جملة this drug is not sold without a prescription. This drug is not sold. Number 4.
Somebody shut the door in my face.
Where's the object?
The door.
The door.
The verb shut.
What kind of verb?
Shut past.
Past. شو بصير؟
بدي أحكي the door was.
مظبوط. The door was
shut.
Shut in my face. يعني the door was shut. لأنه لو shut هنا عبارة عن the past. Okay. The next one.
The dog bit several people badly. بتصير
Where an object?
several
people.
Yes. Several people are bitten.
أول شيء bit present ولا past?
Past دكتور هون صح؟
إذا شو بصير؟ Several people.
Where?
Can we say got beaten instead of were beaten?
ما فيش عندنا get هنا. يعني bit.
So I can't use it.
No, we don't have that. هنا في عندنا bit.
دكتور active بيكون صح؟
Several people were إيش؟ شو الباست بارتيسيبل من bit؟
beaten.
No, not beaten. bitten.
bitten.
البيتن من بيت هذيك هاي بيت تختلف بيت عن بيت.
bitten.
اوكي بيت يعني دوج لما دوج بيت يو بايت يو نوت بيت يو. شو يعني بايت؟
يضرب ضربك.
لا بايت يقول.
بايت.
عض. بيت
يضرب
اذا بايت هاي البريزنت من الدوج بايت. الباست بيت والباست بارتيسيبل بيتن. اما بايت اللي هي الضرب بيتن. بيتن. سوري بيتن. not. Yes, several people were ايش؟ bitten. بينما من بيت الباص منها الباصات beaten. Okay. The next one.
I must do this exercise again. This exercise must be done again.
إذا عندنا بالجملة إيش؟ موديل must. كل الموديل بالباسف شو بصير فيهم؟ followed by إيش؟ by be.
Yes.
This exercise must be. شو الباسف من do? Done. إذا this exercise must be done. The next one.
We can see the signal clearly from here.
Your object?
The signal.
The signal, yes. Your verb?
The signal can.
موديل عنوان.
can see. Can see. So دكتور
يعني
بتصير this can see.
can see. فشو قلنا after models use؟
be
لا
can
دكتور
be
لسه ما حلتها.
must be
ما
وهون
حليت.
can be seen. okay.
ما حليت دكتور. The signal can be seen
أيوة.
from here. Clearly.
إذا the signal can be seen. فصارت طبعا seen. Next one. Where's the object?
Nobody could beat him in those days. Him.
Him.
We change it to he.
He مظبوط. Yes.
He could be beaten by nobody.
إذا he
دكتور ما بنعملها نفي. ما بنعملها نفي.
نفي. yes. شو بصير
he could not be beaten.
مظبوط. he couldn't
be beaten.
فعلا nobody. إذا he couldn't be beaten. هاي بيت بتختلف عن الدوج. هاي بايت. الدوج بايت. هنا بيت بتختلف عن بايت. هنا البايت.
So we change nobody to not.
Yeah.
We change nobody to not.
هم نعملها نيجاتيف لأنه nobody. نقول he could not be beaten in those days.
دكتور إذا حطينا by nobody.
يصير by anybody.
By anybody.
Yes. Okay. Yes, the next one.
Municipality is building 2 new bridges.
Where is the object?
2 new bridges.
2 new bridges, yes.
Building is building. That's here 2 new bridges.
And the two new buildings are عبارة عن plural. إذا شو نحط محل is؟
are.
في هنا building.
Two new bridges are being built
أيوة نحط
by
being هنا.
the municipality.
إذا مع البروجريسيف we use being والموديل قلنا نحط معها be. اوكي. إذا شو بصير هنا؟ 2 new bridges are being إيش؟ شو بصير البيلدينج؟ built. باص بارتيسيبل. are being built. مظبوط. The next one.
They were driving the cattle into trucks.
The object.
The cattle was being driven.
The cattle
was being driven.
cattle plural ولا singular?
Singular.
نقدر نعتبرها singular أو plural. The cattle شو بصير the cattle؟
was being or were being.
Were being
driven.
Then the cattle were being driven. Okay. Any question about this so far?
No.
We stop here today and see you next week. Have a nice weekend.
Thank you, Doctor.
يعطيك العافية.